What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Scene Snobs podcast. I am your host, Mick Manhattan, the Scene Snob, and this is live. Live as always on Tuesday nights, because also I am not doing Friday night for the foreseeable future. I could do one before 9 p.m., but Joe Bob is back. The Last Drive-In is back. Season 2 starts this Friday on Shudder. Who's joining in with me? Who's going to be watching? Chris Jericho is a guest on the show. Very excited for that. So yeah, I'm not going to be doing Friday nights. Maybe I could do something early if you guys are interested. But at 9 p.m., I jump off, I go on Shudder, and I'm going to be watching The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. I'm psyched. I'm joining in. Yes, you are, Rob. We're going to be doing a live discussion, I think, we talked about. So we'll be doing that. I don't know who else has jumped in right now, but we're talking about the Season 2 premiere of The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs, which is starting this Friday. And that is why the Scene Snobs live podcast is not going to be on Fridays for now. We're going to be doing that. Again, I could do something earlier if you guys are interested, maybe around 7:30 or so. But we still will be on Tuesdays. So make sure you are hopping on Facebook. Well, actually, pretty soon. I am working on it. I'm trying to get it together for this and Behind the Box. We are going to be doing it through the Scene Snobs channel, which is on YouTube. And we will still do it through Facebook. I'm just working on the software at the moment. And we will we'll be going live. So we'll be live on Tuesday. We'll be live on Wednesday for Behind the Box. And we'll still be live for Rob Paints the Movies with my co-host of Behind the Box, Rob Gosher. So make sure you guys tune in for that stuff. But we got a lot to talk about tonight. I have some stuff that's going on. I want to give a big shout out. Happy birthday to Antonio Bay. Happy birthday, Antonio Bay. 140 years old, and you've never looked better. Pirate ghosts and all. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a little movie from 1980 called The Fog by horror master John Carpenter. And in that movie, they're celebrating the 100th birthday of a little town called Antonio Bay that gets taken over by ghost pirates. If you've not seen the movie, I feel bad for you because it's fantastic. But you should definitely check it out. That's what it's there for. It's amazing. R.I.P. Who's R.I.P., Len? Rip or R.I.P.? Yeah, get your stuff down. Get your stuff together. What are you doing to me? Come on. You know better than that. If you're talking about The Fog, then don't talk about The Fog, because The Fog is great. The Fog is a great movie. But I have been thinking about it now that I have you and I have Rob in here. So, my partner in crime, Mr. Rob Gosher, does not like The Fog. And we often argue with him. I love the movie. I think it's a great ghost story. Does everything make sense? No, but in horror movies, not everything always makes sense. They should, but they don't. I will say this, though. I think the reason I love it is because I've seen it at such a young age. And I think most of that's the same reason most people love that movie. It's because they have seen it at a young age. Now, my partner again, Rob, on Behind the Box podcast, which you can catch tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He doesn't like the movie, but he just saw it only a few months ago. And I had to put myself into his line of thinking. Like, why would you not like this movie? What's the problem? You know, it's something I love so much. And it's the same with Halloween. He doesn't really like the first Halloween movie. And I love Halloween. I adore that movie. Well, my way of thinking is, because he saw them at such a late age, I get it. Now, am I putting them down? No, of course not. But I do get it. I do get why an adult may not like the movie. It is slow-paced. Does have its problems that, you know, pacing-wise and plot-wise, that you may not see when you're young. So you just grow up and you have a nostalgic effect on it. But I do... So I kind of get his way of thinking, you know. But I still have to say I love the movies. I will still always throw them out there. I have shown Halloween to my 8-year-old, and TV edited, of course, and he loves it. He loves the movie. He thinks it's great. Oh, we got some comments. Rob, are we talking about The Fog? I fell asleep as soon as you mentioned it. Oh man, I just gave a perfect reason for you, and you throw it in my face, Rob. Egg in my face. Have you ever seen the YouTube series where Gen Z watch classic horror movies for the first time? I'm not Gen Z, Rob says. Len says Gen Z. Rob says he's not Gen Z. It's kind of funny because they're basically the same age. They're basically the same people, and it's still hilarious to me. That's why I think I can be friends with both of them. Rob, I get it, though. You just like bad movies, man. And I'm going to say it. Dune. Rest my case. Conan the Destroyer. Oh, you're going to bite my head off tomorrow on the podcast, aren't you? But, keep in mind, too, we are still doing the brackets for Best Movie Monster, and tomorrow we are seeding the Alien section of the brackets. So, Best Aliens in movies as Movie Monster. So, make sure you tune in for that, because we do want input. The Destroyer has a mirror wizard. Enough said. That is not enough said whatsoever. Mad Max 2. Mad Max 2, that's the Road Warrior. Or are you saying Mad Max 2? Mad Max is great, Rob says. Now, I love the little bickering thing you guys got going on there. I think it's wonderful. I think it's cute. I think it's adorable. Jeremy, I'm surprised you're not in on this. Because you have a lot to add. And you're doing a watch of movies that Jeremy got off. Oh, no, Jeremy's back. Okay. You're doing a rewatch of movies you've never seen, or not a rewatch, but you're doing a watch of movies you've never seen before that are quite popular, and I have to give it to you. I love that. I like Road Warrior, Mad Max, and Fury Road. Come on, Beyond Thunderdome's worth it. Aliens, 1986 will win the bracket. If not, I will be going live. Haha. I don't know, man. You have 4 different sections. We have like the nuclear creature feature type section of monsters. We have supernatural. We have aliens, and I can't even remember the last one. Oh, slashers. So it's not about who can beat who. It's not about that at all. And first of all, I think that the xenomorphs are better. The xenomorph from Alien is better than the xenomorph in Aliens. There's just a lot of them. That's what makes them scary. The first one, it's just lurking. Fury is the best. Color is amazing. I agree. Fury Road was a great movie. Although, my argument with that is still that I don't think Tom Hardy was a great Max. I don't care that he was kind of pushed off to the side and not the main character. Furiosa was a great main character for that, and that was fine for me. I think it should have been an older Max. Again, I've said this before. I don't think it needed to be Mel Gibson or anything. I'm not going that route. But I would say that an older representation, a more disheveled and beat up, because it seemed like that's what Tom Hardy was trying to go for, but he was younger. It should have been somebody much older than these women, somebody who was trying to almost take care of them. Not at first, of course, I had to grow into that, but I just thought it would have been better that way. If they had gotten Mel Gibson, I think it would have been a better movie. Because I just think it would have worked. But again, it doesn't have to be Mel Gibson. You can get a new actor, but I just thought it should have been an older actor. Maybe Danny Glover. That's a joke. Would you like to know more about what? Bad movies? No, I'm okay. Thank you, though, Rob. I do appreciate it. So we got some fun stuff to talk about. Again, happy birthday, Antonio Bay. So how many of you heard about this weekend? The entire U.S. box office came down from the weekend. The whole weekend's collection, U.S. box office, came down from one drive-in theater in this country. The entirety, which I believe, I have the number up. I know the rounded number, but I want to give you the exacts if I can. The grand total box office was $33,456. That was the entire weekend's box office from one theater. And now this is a very special theater in my heart. It is the Ocala Drive-In Theater in Ocala, Florida. I years ago, when I was living in Orlando and I was going to film school, we did a documentary on the film going experience, going to the movie theaters, different movie theaters, things like that. And sorry about that. Hit my keyboard. Absolutely no problem, Katie. Thank you for joining. And join in the conversation. Right now, we're talking about how the entire U.S. box office came down to one theater. That's a line from a movie there, Scene Snob. Would you like to know more? I don't know. Of course it was Florida. Yes, it was Florida. They remained open. But a lot of drive-in theaters are going to be opening up as of next month, which I think is okay. I really do. I think if they practice safe precautions, I think it'll be all right. I don't know that it's ready for theaters yet, but as Joe Bob would call it, hard top theaters. God damn, you have count 33,000 in rev while at Jersey Gardens. You have to count 33,000. They didn't bring any money in, did they? According to journalists. So the two movies were Resistance, which is a World War II mine biopic, which is funny to me that they say that. It's Marcel Marceau's biopic. A lot of people should know him. He's a very famous mime. And he only talked in one movie. I'm going to put this out as trivia right now. He only talked in one movie. Starred in a lot of movies. Very famous mime, like I said. But Marcel Marceau only talked in one movie. And he said one line. And if you can tell me what movie and what line, you get to pick a movie for next week's poll. Okay? And I'll get into all that in just a sec, but of what this week's poll is. Rob Ghost, your silent movie. Rob, can you tell me what he said? That's how you get both. No, Mike, when you worked there at Derek like 15 years ago. I didn't work, well, yeah, it was Jersey Gardens, Elizabeth. Yeah, I worked there. What does that have to do with this movie thing? So, the Ocala, Florida, just tell a story real quick. We went there, God, so many years ago. This had to be about 12 or 13 years ago. Maybe more. 2007? Yeah, 13 years ago. So we did a documentary on the movie-going experience, and that was the closest drive-in, and we wanted to go and film at a drive-in theater. So it is near and dear to my heart because it's the first drive-in theater I was able to sit down as a driver and go in and see a movie. Like my personal experience of doing it, not an experience of nostalgia going with somebody else. So that was awesome for me. And the fact that that is the theater that is or encompassed the entirety of the U.S. box office this weekend, which is sad, but it's also hopeful. I'm choosing to take a hopeful stance here. That we're moving forward. At least with as much as we've been beaten down, as much as the unemployment rate is spiking, and everything else that's going on around us, this pandemic, we have us Americans, and I don't want to be all gung-ho American, but I do. We're getting beaten down, but we have that one theater. That one theater is still standing through all of this. And that gives me hope, and I love it. And I love that I have a connection with that theater, too. So I got some comments here. So, Rob, yes, you said silent movie. Len, you were talking about me working at the Jersey Gardens Mall. Not Jersey Gardens Mall. The Elizabeth Seaport. The Lowe's Theater. It wasn't even an AMC yet. It was the Lowe's. I can't remember the line. Murday. Nope, he says no. He says the word no. You still get to pick a movie. That is your third week in a row picking a movie? Damn, Rob, you're going on an Undertaker-type streak here, buddy. I love it. I'm going to have to keep these Saturday night viewings going just to see how long you can pick up a movie to pick. So give it some thought. You don't have to tell me until Sunday. Really take a look at it. I want something out there. It can be something that was already on the list before, but Just let me know. And it can't be something that we've watched before. It can be something that was on the list before, though. Small World, yes, it is, Kate. And I grinned when I saw that. It really made me feel good. Fourth. Oh, it is your fourth. Okay, fourth. So that's an You're on an Undertaker streak. I'm Brock when he hits 21 weeks. We shall see. Len, you need to join in on these things to actually beat him. You actually have to come into the discussions after the movie and stuff like that to join into this movie trivia, because you are 0 for like 7,000, buddy. I don't think you've done very well, and I have faith in you that you could, but it's pretty crazy to me. But anyway, the other movie that they were showing, so they were showing two IFC movies. So the one was The Resistance, the Marcel Marceau biopic, and the other one was Swallow, which was a small, not a small movie, but an indie movie that came out last year into the circuits, the film festival circuits, and it's starting to make sadly, it was starting to make its way more into a wider release. But then all this happened. But I'm glad that those two movies are the movies that made up. I don't know which one was the number one. It doesn't say. Swallow from IFC Films are both playing together at one U.S. movie theater. Okay. So Swallow was the number one movie. Okay, cool. So good for that. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that fact, especially indie films. It feels good. I don't know about you guys, but it does feel good. All right, so let's get to topics. So we've been talking about some topics. I brought some up. I'm going to throw them out there to you guys. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I want to hear what you guys know. And then we'll get into some more news. I have some fun stuff going on that we've been looking at. But topics first. So I think the first topic I had up was, what was your favorite martial arts movie as a kid? Now, don't give me that crap that it was, this kung fu movie from blah, 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 blah. No. I want to know when you were a kid. If it was The Karate Kid, that's fine. If it was Three Ninjas, who cares? I want to know, and I want to know why. But don't try and get... It was Enter the Dragon, Mike. No. It was not Enter the Dragon. Everybody says that. Rob Gosher, Mortal Kombat. Yes. Yeah. That's a good answer. It's an honest answer. And I appreciate answers like that. But as for... like I said, I want to hear more. I don't want to hear people spouting off about, this martial arts movie was great for me, blah, 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 blah. No. What was your favorite martial arts movie as a kid? And why? The music was amazing, and I love Johnny Cage. He was quite the ball buster. Yeah, I went there. I did it. I said that. And you enjoyed it. You did. So, what was your favorite martial arts movie? And then I'll pose the next question soon. I just want to kind of get you that out there first. Which Mortal Kombat, Rob? Yeah, we do have to ask that question, Rob. I mean, I'm sorry. We got to kind of, got to find out. Christina! Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Perfect answer. I love it. Cage, down B. If only he had said it when he did it in the movie. That would have been made for a much more perfect moment. So, but please tell me your favorite. I would say probably The Karate Kid was the first one I was really aware of because of my brother. But I might have to agree with Christina. I might have to say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is probably my favorite. I will tell you this, being a kid though, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 spoke to me a little bit more. Because it was more kid-friendly. The first one, like, when you were little, was kind of frightening a bit. It was dark, and New York was just not nice. So I will say that. I definitely think that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 as a child. Now that I'm grown up, the first one is still number one in my opinion, but as a child, number 2 I think spoke to me a little bit more, which is weird because yeah, I think Rob, you're right with Toka and Razor. You kind of had more of a cartoon like connection to it, and you had Ninja Rap. And that right there wins it. Ninja Rap, come on, and Vanilla Ice doing it. You just felt cool singing Ninja Rap because they felt cool singing Ninja Rap. But I do like your answers. Why was it frightening? Casey Jones committing murder to Master Shredder? You know, that was one, because I had seen it really young because my parents didn't know any better. They were like, Ninja Turtles, okay. Like, my brother read the comic books, and he didn't let on how dark the comics were. And then the cartoon was like kicking off or something like that when I watched it, because I didn't see it in theaters. I saw that on VHS. I saw the second one in theaters. Go Ninja, go. I made a funny. Yeah. Cowabunga. So many great lines from that movie. I love it. The reason I brought this question up is because this morning, I don't know what made me think of it. I will tell you this before I get into this story. I did love Chuck Norris movies as a kid. They were always on TV, and I always loved watching them. I would say my favorite is still like Ninja Turtles. Well, not now, but as a kid. There's so many more you see. The Raid alone is probably my favorite. But watching that, you had a lot of Chuck Norris, and those count. They count as martial arts movies. You know, he was always roundhouse kicking somebody. So, but the reason I brought that up is because I showed my 8-year-old and weirdly enough my 3-year-old who just started screaming ninjas Sidekicks today. Does anybody remember Sidekicks? The Jonathan Brandis Chuck Norris vehicle from 1993, I think. I had forgotten the movie existed, and then you watch it and you're like, wow, there was a lot of stars in that movie for the time. Mako was in the movie. I mean, I don't think Rob would really know him because he hates Conan the Destroyer, but Conan the Barbarian, but you know what I mean. Sidekicks, though, they loved it. They thought it was great, and I think I'm going to show them Three Ninjas. I have shown them Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're not ready for Mortal Kombat yet. Yes, that kid who hurt himself. I'm not going to touch that one, but burn the bricks. Yes, they did burn the bricks in the end of that. Rob, Dan, you really remember this movie. Anime martial arts movie. Fatal Fury, the movie. So great. Man, you and Len would get along really well talking about anime movies. Mako was awesome, and Destroyer, as well as Highlander 3. I'm not going to, nothing against it, but I mean, Barbarian, buddy. Barbarian. Yeah, but you guys would have a lot of fun talking about anime. Funny story I'll tell while Len is here. So, years ago, we were in a bar in Rutgers drinking. And Lenny and I were, the night before, we were hanging out, and he was just yammering on in my ear all night. And I was just kind of like, whatever, I don't care. But I'm listening because he's my friend. I'm not telling him to shut up. I'm going to, talk. In fairness, Fatal Fury 2 is still watching on YouTube to this day. I have a question about anime for you after I finish the story. But so Len and I are hanging out. Len is, like I said, yammering on about anime. This is the night before we were drinking, and he's just going on and on and on about anime. And I'm listening, and I'm I don't really care because I wasn't really an anime guy. But he's my friend, and I want him to feel like he's heard. So the next night we go out drinking. And we're at a bar in Rutgers. Rutgers is a university in Jersey, near where we grew up. So we're out there, we're drinking, and this really pretty blonde girl starts talking to me, right? So I love that you guys are having, you geeks are having, I love you guys. And anybody who's just going to listen to this, I call them geeks because I love But you geeks are talking about anime, and I'm talking about girls. Uh, this is indicative of who Lenny and I were growing up. So this pretty blonde girl comes up, she starts talking to me. Now Lenny's standing behind me, and I just kind of sitting there, whatever. I forget how it came up with her, but anime came up. She was like, I'm a really big anime fan. And I'm like, oh, really? And I continue, and Lenny, like, perked up. Lenny, like, oh, this girl's in anime. And this is early on. This is before he had met his now wife. And he's like, well, that's my in, because I'm an anime fan. Well, no, it's not your in. Again, I stepped over my friend by putting my boot on his neck. No, I kid, but he'd probably tell you I did. Without missing a beat, I recited everything he had said to me the night before. It just trapped its way in there because I wanted to listen to my friend. I didn't want to make him feel bad. So I recited everything and looked like a genius of anime. And he was left without the girl. So we'll just say that. I'm sure he has a lot more to add to that. But I'm going to keep telling these stories, Len, until you come on the show. Because you need to come on the show, buddy. Because we have plenty of stories like this that are funny. And I want to hear your answers. So, to go back real quick, Len, what was the name of that? That was cheap. It was a cheap shop, but I remembered. I was a good friend for listening. I was a good friend for listening to all of that anime stuff that I felt I deserved to get the girl because I remembered all of it. Not the first, Lenny, not the first, not the last. He then asked for the keys to my Jeep. Great friend. I did do that, yeah. Yes, I did. And I didn't really even need them because you always left the doors open. Yeah, I did that. But I love you, buddy, because you are, without a doubt, the best wingman to ever exist in history. I love you. You're my brother. I've known you way too long, and I've screwed you so much when it comes to girls, and I feel bad about that. Kind of, not really. Live for the experience, my friend. Len, do you need the number to the friend abuse hotline? Oh, he knows the hotline he can call. That's another story, though. All right, I gotta tell this story now. So now this whole podcast is becoming stories about what we've done to each other. He had given my number to was it a suicide hotline or a depression hotline? This is back in the day where they would call you. You couldn't. It was something like that, like where they'll call you and ask for you based on like a recommendation for a friend. Need it? I run the damn thing. Oh man. You are a great friend, though. I will tell you that much. But so he gave my number to this hotline that calls, and their whole point is to be there for you, thinking that like maybe you are going to. And I'm not making any light of suicide or anything like that. The man saved my life, so I don't make any light of what he said. It was a suicide hotline. So they called me. And, they asked for me, and I said, yeah, I'm him. And they wouldn't let me off the phone because I kept saying, I got to go. I was like, don't call me. I have to go. And and that's the funny part. It was like, because of that time, I also gave you a noose as a Christmas gift. That noose, I have told this story plenty of times. Just for anybody listening, depression, suicide, bipolar disorder, none of it. None of those. I do not make light of any of those things. I am manic depressive and bipolar. I have dealt with it for years, worked on it. I don't feel like it ever goes away, so I never say it does. I have gone to, and again, this is stories about you, Len. Rob Kosher replying. So this all comes from Lenny's comment. I also gave you a noose as a Christmas gift. Rob, that's a funny one. A good friend would have worn it. I don't. I could have. If anything, that saved me from wearing it. So the night I was going to commit suicide, I was on my way to do it. This man who's never called my phone except for like 2 times in my life, Len, called me. He knew something was up. He knew something was wrong with me. It was around Christmas time. He was really upset about it. That's really brave of you, Mick, to put that out there. I didn't know that. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But I feel like you should be able to openly talk about it, because if it can help anybody, that's the important thing, and that's what I want. Like I said, I've worked on it for years and years. I do not feel this way. I wouldn't. Suicide is the farthest thing from my mind. I deal with my depression and work at it, and my bipolar disorder. So, and I feel it's always very hard. Always work at it, because when it comes to suicide, trust me, nobody wants you gone. Trust me. You are not better off gone. Please take that to heart and always believe it. And I am also always here to listen. Does not matter at the time. But the reason I'm telling the story, not to depress anybody, but because Len and I have known each other for 23 years. Ever since Kuhn's computer class. Well, Len knew I was down. This is about 2012, December 2012, so about 8 years ago. A little under 8 years ago. I am down. I've checked out. I'm had my last drink, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take myself off the world, off the map. And I get a phone call from Len, who I have told the story before, by the way, publicly. I get a phone call from Len, who literally has called me twice. Once for this, the other to tell me he had cancer. He is my hero. This man is my absolute hero. And he's a movie genius. I still go to him when I have questions. So he calls me this night. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to be out. He's like, you gotta come over. I got a gift for you. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I don't need a gift, dude. The last thing in my mind is like, I need a gift. But he's badgering me. Just stop by. Just grab it. I go over, stop by his house. I don't even think I came in. I think he just came outside, handed me the gift. It was box. He's like, I love you, buddy. Merry Christmas. We talked a little bit, and then I was like, I'm out. I'm going. Put it down. I'm like getting ready to go. I'm getting ready. I'm done. I'm still gone. But I had to see what he put in there. It was curiosity, is because I know the guy for too long. I had to see what he put in this box. I open up the box. It is a rope with instructions on how to make a noose. A lot of you might look at that and might say, "Listen, that's crash. That's what do you call it? Insensitive or whatever else." That's the thing that saved my life. That's the one I turned around and I laughed so hard for an hour in my car. Not laughter of, like, yeah, this is funny, suicide's funny. Laughter of, this guy knew how to make me laugh at a time when I didn't want to have anything to do with laughter. And it saved my life. The man saved my life. And we're still friends 8 years later. We still shit talk each other constantly. We're going in 2 years, and we're going to go to Stewart, British Columbia, to the thing where they filmed this, to the site where they filmed The Thing, one of our favorite horror movies of all time. And I'm going to probably bag tag him on that mountain. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's just how much this guy means to me. Now, why did I bring this up? Hopefully it helps. Hopefully it makes you realize, like, you can laugh. You can find laughter at all the times that, even when you don't think you can ever find laughter. And many other things, like, always deal with depression. Never put yourself out there. Never take yourself off the board. Everybody, you are never not wanted. And if you can't think of anybody to talk to, you can always come talk to me. Anywhere, I will listen to you. Just message me, and we'll have great talk. Um, so, why does that bring me back? So we go back, and that's the news story from the Christmas gift. That's what I had to say. Bag tag. Didn't we just see that in porno? Yes, we did. But he owes me a bag tag. Again, that's another story. This can't be the Lenny Stories thing. That's going to be another time. We'll tell that story another time. Did he get off? I feel like he probably jumped off and didn't want to hear the story. Maybe he's mad at me. I didn't get any texts if he is, so we'll see. I need some water after that story. So, getting back to the fun of it. I don't want to bring anybody down. I love that piece of garbage, beautiful human being that he is. I have another question for you guys. No, I'm still here. Are you pissed? Because you're very quiet, so I feel like you might be pissed. But just know that I love you, and I only tell that story with the utmost respect and love for you, you piece of garbage. I don't know why it makes me laugh. All right, here's my next question. I want to hear. By the way, Grave of the Fireflies was the movie you mentioned to that blonde. Was it? Okay. Well, I had a question. What was the one where you guys used to watch it at Hollywood Video, and it used to be like the guy with the weird face where you guys would lose your crap every time you saw his face? No, I was listening. Oh God, I gotta hear this transaction. So, Grave of the Fireflies was the one I talked to the blonde about. Okay. See, it's so weird that you remember. None of that stuff's here. None of that stuff. I don't remember any of it. And I love that you just glossed over. I told this entire story about you, and you went right to the movie because I know you're still pissed off about that blonde, and I love you for it. Why would he be mad at you other than destroying a potential relationship with a blonde-haired anime lover? I did that a lot to him, though, and I feel so bad. No, I was listening. It's great. All right, thanks, buddy. I love you. Go back to Werewolf Kuhn's class. Trish Stratus, our girl. That's a story for another time. If you could live in any director's movie world, which director's world would you live in? So, would you live in a Quentin Tarantino type world? Battle Angel was the movie on Hollywood Video. Yes, where it's like, you know. You guys used to freak out about that. So, which director's world would you live in? Yeah, that was a funny one. We had these in Hollywood Video. Len was like the veteran who worked at Hollywood Video since we were in high school. I worked there for like 5 minutes. I worked at other video stores way longer than Hollywood Video because it's stupid to bonus. Who hated Back to the Future. You know what? He had this... Alright. When you go to work at a video store, back in the day, anybody who doesn't understand video stores, cause maybe you're a little younger, I understand, but equate it to this. If you're a movie fan, or a fan of anything really, and you go to work at a place that maybe sells that thing, you know, or capitalizes on that thing, and you are an employee there, and you are a knowledgeable employee. If you have a boss who's just wrong about everything, and is kind of douchey about it, he should not be working at a video store. The douchebag is what I should call him. He didn't like Back to the Future. I'm sorry. You don't like Back to the Future. I don't trust you. And you know what? There's actually an article I was going to read tonight. James Gunn thinks Back to the Future is the perfect movie. I don't disagree with him at all. I never forget when you came to work with me hungover so bad your dad had to drive you there. All you did all day was hang out in the corner with dripping sweat. That was a bad day. I was supposed to work that day. I couldn't even drive, man. Yeah, that was rough. I do remember that. I always remember a good hangover. I don't drink anymore, and it's been a lot of years, but I do remember the good hangovers. Okay. Back to the Future seemingly could be imperfect. Why don't Mom and Dad remember Marty? But I would still argue it's a perfect film because there are reasons why this could conceivably be the case. Time protects itself from unraveling, etc. Or maybe I'm in denial. Who knows? Okay. Again, I think people are using this hashtag in a different way than me. But that's how I perceive it. Here are 5 more perfect films. Yeah, so right now there's a big hashtag going around. Name five perfect movies. 5 perfect films. And James Gunn puts out, and I don't disagree with any of these. Back to the Future is number 1. Chinatown is number 2. One of my favorite movies of all time. My favorite movie of all time, and one of my favorite movies of all time, and my favorite horror movie of all time. He goes, Rashomon, great movie. Probably one of my favorite foreign films of all time. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, fantastic, just a fantastic movie. And yeah, I would argue that it's perfect. Flawless type movie. And number 5 is The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. Cannot argue with that list. James Gunn, man, he's a smart dude. Still probably one of the best celebrities I've ever interviewed. He was fantastic. And that was early on. That was pre-Guardians of the Galaxy. So, Rob, I guess I'm assuming Mel Brooks movies are in the same universe then, that one? Yes. Yeah. So all the movies, think about it like this all goes on in the world of those movies. So like, it can map out however you want it, but what director's movies do you want to live in? Back to the Future doesn't make sense. Once Dad saw a kid who looked exactly like that Klein kid, the Calvin Klein kid, who didn't bone his girlfriend, he'd have left. Yeah. All right, stop. Don't argue with that movie. I know what you're doing. Don't do that. You can argue anything else. I'll let you argue Dune all day long. You can say Blade Runner is the worst movie. Don't mess with my Back to the Future. Do not do it. It is still the movie when I watch the end scene when he's just trying to get down the street in that car. It is like the most is like 5 or 7 minutes of the most intense film scenes of all time, in my opinion. Every time I watch it, I know he's gonna make it. I know it. I've seen the movie like 400 times, and that's legit. But it just every time that scene starts, I'm like, is he gonna make it? Is he gonna do it? I don't know. It just it whole time. Plot hole in a time travel movie. It's a thing in all of them. I like them too. Better like them. Better not badmouth Back to the Future, and I know what you're doing, Rob. Rob, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. And you get to pick a movie next week. That's amazing to me. Again, 4th time in a row. I'm anxious to know what you picked, though, but I'll save it. So, what director's movie world would you live in? Let me know what you think on that one, because I'm interested in that. I told so many stories about Len. I don't even know why the guy's still on right now. I could tell more stories. It can be a lot of fun. By the time I saw him raving in my living room. I won't be Back to the Future. It won't be Back to the Future. Yes. You can bash any time travel movie. Although, I will tell you, time travel movies are my jam, man. I love time travel movies. I don't know what it is, but they're all good. I don't think I've seen one I dislike. I love the first, but hate part 2 with a passion. Why do you hate part 2? I'm going to keep looking at the stream. Why do you hate part 2? How can you hate part 2? It is a fantastic trilogy, and you find Easter eggs that make it work every time you watch them. I still do. Part 2 is a great movie, and it is great middle. See, that's the problem. A lot of people will say if there's 3 movies, it's called a trilogy. It's this, that, and that's not the case. A trilogy is 3 parts of the story. It's the beginning, the middle, and the end. And part 2 is a fantastic movie where a lot of people don't like it, but it's essentially just like Empire. It works. It works. It's the middle of the story. The story's not over. You cannot look at it as over. The reason I don't like part 3, and this is called my ending complex, I think when you get into a franchise, when you get to the last movie, a lot of it's 3. Like, a lot of people don't love Return of the Jedi. They do, but they don't love it. And things like that. So you can take any movie and you'll say usually any franchise, and usually the last one, where it's definitive last one, people will be like, I don't really like that. And I call it the ending complex. And the reason being is it's people automatically aren't going to like it because it's the last in the tail that they love. you already don't like the ending because you don't want it to end. I don't like Back to the Future 3, not because it's not a good movie. It's a very good movie. It's a fun, adventurous story, and it caps off this trilogy, this true trilogy, perfectly. But when you see the DeLorean get damaged, when you see Doc come back and then leave, and he and Marty are separated, and it's over, it's done. It's your heart sinks a little bit. Same with Return of the Jedi. Yeah, granted, I know they have the new trilogy now, JJ's new trilogy, but it still makes your heart sink a little bit. The story's over. The story that you love is over. Ooh, I like that, Rob. And that's essentially actually one of my favorite. But let me read off your messages. So, Part 2 also gave us a gift where directors couldn't use an actor's likeness without approval. Yeah, that's true. They had to hire a different actor and kind of hide his face. Crispin Glover. Undiscovered Country is my favorite TOS movie. It is mine too. We usually disagree. No, we don't usually disagree. We disagree on some stuff though. But TOS, the original series Star Trek movies, Undiscovered Country. Wait. Yeah, Undiscovered Country is my favorite. Sorry, I got it mixed up with that other one. What's the one where they go and find God, and it's Spock's brother? Star Trek movies. Hold on. I have to look this up because it's going to drive me nuts. Because I can't remember the name of the title. Undiscovered Country is The Final Frontier. The one right before Undiscovered Country. That was the fifth one. So the sixth one, The Undiscovered Country, essentially, it's a whodunit. And I love that. I love that whole feel of it. I love Christopher Plummer in it and his characters, the Klingon general. Worf is in it. Not really Worf, it's Michael Dorn, but kind of playing an ancestor of Worf's, and I love that. So yeah, oh my God, Star Trek villains needs to count tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely, aliens, 100%. I agree. They got to be monstrous though. You can't just put somebody who's a bad guy. They have to, because it's a movie, monsters. All right, Len, you said Kevin Smith. I live this in New Jersey anyway. Besides plenty of Star Wars references, I mean, Death Star Union death is a valid point. Hollywood Video is my quick stop. That's true. It was all of our quick stop, buddy. Very special to you, yes, but which is kind of funny because Premier Video, where I worked, was basically RST Video, exactly to a T. The Final Frontier. Thank you for answering that for me. Number 5. It's got Odo from DS9. Does it? I have to go back and rewatch it. The only thing I really liked about Final Frontier is the triumvirate of McCoy, Spock, and Kirk. Their friendship in that was the most fun of the movie. Out of all of the movies, like they were together, they had to work together, and I love that because they were 3 best friends, and I really enjoyed that dynamic. Khan and Krug were the best characters in TOS. Final Frontier was terrible. It was a terrible premise, but like I said, I liked them in it. Undiscovered Country has Odo. Oh, who did he play in it? Where was it? Was he one of the Klingons? It's been a while since I watched it. I have to sit down and watch it. I'll definitely check it out though. Just so you guys know, I want to put this out there too. I know we're kind of rolling on conversation, but looks like one of the newest movies that's going to skip theaters and head into digital release is Scoob, the new Scooby-Doo movie. I'm excited for it. I wanted to see that. I like Scooby-Doo. My kids love Scooby-Doo. And I wanted to see this. I thought it was going to be delayed, but I'm glad it's back. He was a spy. Oh, okay. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Scoob will be available for a 48-hour rental VOD period as of May 15th. Warner Brothers has no future plans to bring big picks like Wonder Woman 1984, Tenet, or In the Heights skip theaters and head into homes. No, actually, In the Heights was just rescheduled for June 2021. So you're not going to see the Lin-Manuel Miranda movie anytime soon. But yeah, we got lots of fun stuff coming out. I have a feeling you're going to see some more if this keeps up the way it's keeping up. Whoopsie daisy. You got off your conversation, but I'll get back to it. Shaggy, Matt Lillard, you should tell those stories. Yeah, I will. I mean, I worked with Matt Lillard. We were friends for a little while. Not best friends or anything, but we were friendly. I worked with him on 2 projects. I was one of the producers on his first thing he ever directed, which was kind of cool to be able to say that. And then, which was it was a short comedy piece. I got to show it to you. I can't remember what it was. It was with Dr. God. They're a great improv group. I don't know if they're still together, but they're a great improv group. They actually have a really cool horror comedy called Blood-Sucking Bastards. If you guys haven't checked that out, you should. It's really funny. And Matt Lillard's in that, too. He showed up in that. But most of the guys from Dr. God are in that movie. They produced it. And I did another show with them that was called Pitch Slap. Pitch. Pitch Slap. And it was basically, I was the camera guy for that, and Matt was the host, and we would run around Venice, and there were people planned for it. It was a pilot that we shot. It didn't get picked up. Wish it did. It was a pretty cool thing. Where different people who wrote scripts have like seconds. Like it's literally a elevator pitch, but they have to pitch it right there as the camera runs up to them. You know, like we told them, like, all right, we'll meet you here, blah blah blah, and then they would talk to, I guess, somebody, and then we would run in, pitch your movie, and then they would do that, and then those pitches would be voted on by another panel, and whichever pitch was voted on, like it would kind of be like a tournament style thing, and then in the end, I don't even know if I can talk about this, but it was like 10 years ago, not even 11 years ago, so I'm sure I can. They would vote on that, and the winner got money to go towards making the movie. So it was a pretty cool concept. And Matt was a really good host of it. He was just a funny dude. He had just that kind of wit. It was, you know what's funny? I'm a big guy. I wasn't always a big guy. If you see pictures of me, I was a beanpole. You go back 2004, 2005, 2006 even, like, I was a thin dude. So I was, one night, he was up on stage, and I worked with Dr. God, like I did stuff, like shot stuff for him, things like that. The Terry Gilliam with no talent of the group at that point, to their Monty Python, because they were all really talented, funny people. And so they were up on stage performing. I was in the audience. Now I'm a bigger guy at this point. You know, I'm fat. I'll say it straight up. That's not shaming. I'm fat. And he was up on stage telling his monologue, you know, saying his monologue, telling his story, improv, and he was just like, and I remember he pointed to me, not knowing I knew the group at that point, and I was going to be around him quite a bit, actually. He's telling the story about how he was fat as a kid and he would get picked on, and he pointed right at me and he goes, "This guy knows what I'm talking about." And I'm just like, you know, it's like, no, I don't, but, you know, I was self-conscious at the time. You gave him your phone so I could talk to him, but I didn't pick up the phone. Yeah, because you never pick up your phone. That's right. We were sitting down. Okay, so this is, I think we had just shot Pitch Slap and we were hanging out. And we were at I.O. West, and we were hanging out in this upstairs, like, lounge area. And Matt is telling all these stories, like, just from different movies, just stuff you don't hear. And I'm not going to repeat a lot of it. So he's just telling stories about stuff that happened on movies and things like that, and with different actors and stuff. And it's really fun. I was like, well, you know, my best friend in the world, his favorite movie is Scream. He loves you in it. And he's like, and he actually said, we'll give him a call. I'll talk to him. I was like, sure. So I called him, gave him my phone, and this idiot doesn't pick up his phone. That's the problem. That's what I deal with my best friend. He never picks up his phone, except to call me at like the craziest times. But I love you. Matt Lillard is the absolute best version of Shaggy ever. Fight me. Casey Kasem refused to let Shaggy eat meat. So dumb. I won't argue with that. I love Matt Lillard. And I love Matt Lillard still voicing Shaggy. He's not in this Scoob movie, but he does on the straight-to-video stuff or the cartoons on TV. And I love that. I'm glad he does. He owns the character. He loves it. He took over, and that's him. We used to call Mike Deep Impact back in high school. Can you give some context? Like, legit, give some context. Don't just say you used to call me Deep Impact and then just, that's it. Yes, you did. I can't argue that fact. But tell them why. All right, so now I got to tell them why. That's a dick reference, isn't it? No, Rob, it's not a dick reference. We are all fat once in our lives. That is true. I'm still fat. But I have confidence now. There's a big difference. As long as I'm healthy, I don't care. I'd rather just be healthy at this point, and I'd rather teach my kids that. Will Forte is great, but he's not Shaggy. That's fair. All right, but going back to Deep Impact. All right, so when we were in high school, I think it was sophomore year, I can't do it now. I still get the haircut, but, unfortunately I can't do it now. And it would be kind of like shaved up on the sides, real short on the top, pushed forward, flipped up. Nobody had that cut except for my brother before me. Nobody had that cut. And I will fight anybody on that. Nobody had that except for my brother. And the only reason my brother had it is because he wanted the George Clooney Caesar cut, but he had a cowlick in his hair, and it flipped it up. And so he got a lot of compliments on that, and he took me to get that haircut. It was my first non-bowl haircut, and which was like my freshman or sophomore year or whatever. And I got it, and I just started flipping it up. Because he told me, he's like, flip it up. Just do that. It's better. So when it would get long, and I would push it forward and flip it up, you'd have like this thing. All right, I realize that this is a podcast and people are going to listen to it. So basically what it would be is the hair in the front would stick up, right? But because it would get longer, you'd have hairs kind of collapsing and going forward in between the hairs that were sticking up. And I'm showing this on the video. I can't believe I'm doing this. So this video will be on the YouTube channel, by the way. So what would happen was it would look like a wave. It would look like a giant wave when it was too long. And Deep Impact had just come out. All right, so they called me Deep Impact because of the hair. And that's the story. That's it. I just got called Deep Impact because of that. So stupid. Thanks for bringing it up, Len. Although I did just talk about almost committing suicide, and had an entire romp about that. And now I'm of course talking about my nickname being Deep Impact, and some of you are probably still wondering. So anyway, I've been fat ever since I was 20. So annoying. Yeah, me too. No, it was maybe a little later, but I really went hard when I went hard. I grew. Oh my God, where are the pics of Mick with a bowl? And they're definitely at least in the freshman year of my yearbook. I'm not ashamed of it. It's fine. It looks stupid, but whatever. How to Style Hair 101. That's my podcast, Bella. This episode is How to Style a Deep Impact Haircut 101. I got you covered, Rob. Rob, yeah, we did go to high school together, and I know he has his thing, so he'll find them. And he'll find, I will guarantee, not my senior year picture, because that was perfectly cut and short, but either junior or sophomore year, it was a little too long around picture time, and you'll probably see the Deep Impact haircut and what they did. So, again, I don't mind. I don't care. It's hard to embarrass me, and if anyone could do it, it's Len, who joins in. This guy is my oldest friend and knows me better than anybody. He knows me better than my entire family. So if he's going to embarrass me, he knows what to do. But at this day and age, I'm just kind of like, whatever. Yeah, so I need a little water. I keep telling stories. So yeah, that was the Matthew Lillard thing, though. He was great, dude. Always had some fun stories, man. Oh, and another thing. So I started losing weight while I knew him, and I think one of the dominant factors was the fact that he called me fat on stage. Um, I love that guy. So I went at it hard. I was dieting. I was running everywhere. And I was losing weight. I wouldn't listen. Not like I was getting back down to my beanpole stages, but I was losing weight, and it was noticeable. And we were having a powwow. We were getting together at one point, and he used to call me Big Mike. So, for anybody who doesn't know, my name is Mike, but my initials are MCK. So I go by Mick. That's something my father called me when I was a kid, so I go by that. Manhattan is not my actual last name, if you hadn't guessed that already. But, so he would call me Big Mike. Well, once I started losing some weight, he got like kind of proud of me. So he started calling me medium-sized Mike to still poke at me, which was a funny, I laughed. I was actually kind of proud of it. I was like, yeah, you call me fat on stage, but now you're calling me medium-sized Mike, so I feel like it's working. Thank you. So maybe to lose some weight now, my wife should call him and have him call me fat. And I'll do it. But, yeah, but I just want to say, I'm not going to pretend like I still talk to Matt and I know him. This is years ago. I do not know him. We are not friends anymore. And even then, like, we were at best better than friend acquaintances. One where he could call me fat and then medium size. So, your name isn't Manhattan. You sit on a throne of lies. That's fair. I don't blame you. Hey, this is show business. That's how it works. Gotta have a stage name. Gotta protect the goods. All right. This is all green screen behind me. This isn't even real. That painting doesn't exist. Who could ever make something like that? Come on. I mean, who hangs a Halloween 6 movie poster on their wall? Anybody who listens to my podcast knows why I would. The Joe Bob stuff's real low. Rob is going to kick my ass for that one. So yeah, that's basically the Matthew Lillard story in a nutshell. Len, you're really throwing out some doozies. And next time you throw out something like Deep Impact, and then I have to answer for it and tell these stories, I hate you. So, yeah, unless you guys have anything more, Bellis, are you still laughing at me about my hairstyling? Because I think I did a good job. I will. Yeah, you will. Just some things before we wrap up. Still, give me some of your answers, though. Have that. Oh, you will have that Joe Bob. That is a personalized picture to me. That one's a personalized picture to my kids. They're not. You're not getting those. So it's not happening, buddy. Sorry about that. I need some water because I am drying up. Because before this, I was a part of a conversation. It was like a group discussion for Psycho Cinema. They showed a virtual screening of the movie, the Alamo Drafthouse here in Winchester, showed a virtual screening of Porno, which was a movie that is a horror movie. Just came out last year, did well in the circuits, the film festival circuits. And it was, you are still laughing at me, Bella. Well, thank you. So, it was a really good movie. You should check it out. It takes place in the 90s in a movie theater. Len, you would really appreciate this. It's very graphic, practical effects. Yes, you do see a nutsack and dick blow up. So, and you see the aftermath result of it. So, not to get crude, but that is great. Hey, Mick, heading to bed. This has been awesome. Talk to you soon. Talk to you soon, Rob. Thanks for joining in. We have our show tomorrow, so everybody knows. Check out on the Facebook Live at 7:30 p.m. We will be going live with Behind the Box. We're continuing on with our movie monster bracket. Tomorrow we are seeding the top 16 alien movie monsters. So join in for that, please. Okay. So going back to where I was at, you threw me off, Rob. Thanks. Where was I? Somebody remind me. So, great show tonight, man. I was talking about porno. That's right. Funny enough. So we watched porno and then we did a group discussion afterwards. But I do admit you guys should watch it. It's a really good horror movie. I was gonna do a Scene Snob review, so that'll probably be up soon. I just had a lot of fun with it. It is available. I don't know if it's still available on Vimeo as a virtual screening. But if you did get a ticket and you did watch it, make sure you go and vote on this week's movie. Counts as 2 if you do. Bella, congratulations. She got to pick a movie to be on the list. Shara did. I don't think Shara joined in. So it's just been a lot of fun. No, it's Porno. Porno is the name of the movie. It's Fangoria produced it. So check that out. It's pretty good. So with that being said, so we have Behind the Box tomorrow. That's our Cult Classics podcast. We're doing, for the next 10 weeks or so, we're building the brackets and then we're going to debate all the way down to the number 1 best movie monster of all time. Okay? What are the other options for this week? I got lots of options. Don't worry, I'm coming to it. So we have that. Check out Behind the Box. Len, you should jump in. Bella, you should jump in too, because that's a lot of fun. We do need audience participation with choosing these monsters. Then on Thursday, we have Rob Paints the Movies. He has his 5th episode coming out. It's a lot of fun. He talks trivia. It's a fun time, fun conversation, answers questions, things like that. So all while painting a new movie, villain or monster. Friday night, we're going to do... Rob and I are probably going to put together on the Scene Snobs page a discussion comment thread for The Last Drive-In. It's season 2. We're going to jump in. We're going to have a lot of fun and just talk about the movies while they're on. So make sure you jump in for that. It will probably be a picture of Joe Bob. I'm recording a new Pulling Focus podcast with my partner Brian Patrick from the Skyline Indie Film Fest on Friday, so it will be out next Tuesday. But keep in mind, we have just partnered up with Winchester Book Gallery. So if you go to winchesterbookgallery.com and you go to Pulling Focus Filmmakers Library, anybody you know who maybe has aspirations for filmmaking, things like that, this month we're doing 15% off with promo code PFP Show. PFP Show, 15% off on screenwriting books. We have a list of screenwriting. We're going to do different things at different times, but for this month, we've been focusing on screenwriting. With that being said, we're also going to be starting short live videos, and other short videos, talking about the filmmaking process. We're going to take different things. I will be sitting down, recording them, and it's just going to focus on certain things in the filmmaking process and maybe breakdowns of stuff and how that works on other movies. So if you're interested, go over and Pulling Focus podcast show, which is on... It's Pulling Focus Podcast Show on Facebook. It is PFP Show on Instagram and Twitter. Follow us for more information. And go get that 15% off if you have screenwriting books that you wanna pick up. We're gonna have other stuff in the future too. The Filmmakers Library is not going away. We'll just add different books to it each time. But I am also doing book recommendations of some of my favorite filmmaking books. They will pop up sporadically on the social media, so make sure you're following. And I will be doing those videos as well. That's all about the filmmaking process and just kind of insider tips and things like that. So, that's this week. Saturday night, we are still voting. Make sure you go out and you vote, okay? So, if you got a ticket to Porno, or otherwise you won trivia, you get to pick, your vote counts as 2. But the movies are Chopping Mall, which is available on Prime and Shudder, Tragedy Girls, which is available on Hulu, The Cabin in the Woods, Prime and Hulu, and Antrim, The Deadliest Movie Ever Made, which is on Prime. So they were all chosen. I have chosen nothing on the list this week. Rob chose one because he won a trivia last week. Bella chose one because she won a trivia, and Shara chose 2 because she won a trivia question to put one on, and she won the grand prize. So lots of fun stuff going on this week. Make sure you check it out. So we'll do our group watch, as always, 7:30. I'll come on Facebook Live. I'll introduce the movie. We'll press play at 8 p.m. We'll have the comment thread, and afterwards we'll do a discussion with trivia. So I'm still working out the prizes right now. Oh, so Cabin in the Woods it is. I don't know. The votes are pretty sporadic at the moment, and I think right now, if you look at them, looks like Chopping Mall is in the lead, but I have to count up. There's lots of votes in lots of different places. I have to count them all up. So, with that being said, this has been the Scene Snobs Podcast Live. I appreciate you guys joining in. I hope you had as much fun as I did. I know I told a lot of stories. Hopefully they helped. Hopefully they made you laugh. Hopefully they made you cry. No, not really. I hope I didn't make you cry. But I hope you just enjoyed everything. Also, I started a campaign. The YouTube channel, the Scene Snobs YouTube channel. I'm trying to get us to 1,000 so I can monetize. I need 1,000 subscribers. Come on, everybody. Go out there, go on YouTube, and subscribe to the Scene Snobs YouTube channel. I very much appreciate it. I'm at 28 subscribers right now, which I love, and I love you guys for doing it. But I'm trying to get to 1,000 so I can monetize and perhaps feed my family off while doing this. So until next time, which will be tomorrow Behind the Box, I love you guys. Thank you for watching and listening, and however you're taking this in. And stay groovy, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.